new thriller that is now streaming on HBO Max that is directed by Steven Soderbergh, and it also stars Zoe Kravitz. The setting of this movie takes place during the pandemic, which I know, eye roll, but hear me out. Let me explain the plot first. Follow Zoe Kravitz as this techie. I don't actually know the word for what she is in the movie, so I'm just gonna call her a techie. This tech specialist who is suffering from a fear of agoraphobia, which to the uninitiated is the fear of going outside. She's working from home and she is a techie for this piece of technology called Kimi. Kimi is really no different from Alexa or Hey Google or anything that you have set up in your home. It's that voice automated technology that basically allows you to have anything and everything at your fingertips just by using your voice. She stays at home and she tries to like fix these bugs and these little problems that pop up in all the Kimis, and that's basically her job. One time while she's trying to fix a bug on one of the Kimis, she overhears an audio recording. This audio recording, it sounds like somebody is getting brutally murdered. So she of course wants to take it to the authorities. Unfortunately, the only way to deliver it to the authorities but also get to the bottom of the mystery and the conspiracy involving this death that she overhears on Kimi is that she has to leave her apartment, and so that creates the big conflict in the movie, and there you go. That's the setup for the story. Normally, all you have to say to me is Steven Soderbergh, and I'm in. That man is one of my favorite filmmakers, and if you say his name on any project, I'm immediately gonna be interested in it. You throw Zoe Kravitz's fine ass into a film like this with Steven Soderbergh, I'm like, oh, well, it has no excuse to not at least be good. Like, it can clear that threshold, right? It can be good. Luckily, this movie does do more than the bare minimum of being good. In fact, I would say it's damn good, and that is an important distinction when you're, you know, going through HBO Max trying to find out different things to watch. Like I said, I know that some people roll their eyes when they hear that the movie is centered sort of around the pandemic, and I know that a lot of people don't really want to see films that deal with the pandemic or bring up the pandemic or have the pandemic as like a central part of the story or the plot or something like that. Like, is this gonna come off tacky? Is this gonna come off the right way? How are they gonna handle this? I like the way Steven Soderbergh and his people handled the pandemic in this movie. It's not really the focus of the movie, and they are able to incorporate it into the movie in some clever ways that actually helps build the main character. A large portion of this movie is her just kind of sitting in her house and walking around or looking out of the window or talking to somebody on FaceTime. You'll find out information about Zoe Kravitz's character from a text message or from FaceTime or just from her organizing her room. Like, you'll find these little things about her character that really do get you invested in the character that they've set up for this movie. You combine all of that with extremely well-crafted camera work, an amazing production value, and an underrated musical score, and you're in for a fun-ass thriller. Maybe not an overly long thriller, maybe not an overly complicated or complex thriller, but at least a fun thriller that does entertain and keeps your attention. The stuff that you see in this movie, you're kind of like, I feel like a legend filmed this movie. Like, that's what you're thinking when you're watching this film. Then you look at the angles and the shot composition, the fact that it doesn't feel like there's a single wasted frame in this movie, even little frames of like her staring out the window, it does add something to the movie. It's one of those films where even though it's not really a big, huge, like bombastic Hollywood type of film, it's one of those films where you watch the camera work, you watch the filmmaking on display, you're like, I can tell that a master made this movie. It's already, in 2022, one of the better looking movies, one of the better shot films of the young year so far. Zoe Kravitz is really, really good in this movie, to the point that for half the movie, I didn't really notice Zoe Kravitz. I just noticed the character that she was playing, and I was so invested in that character and so like interested to see what would happen to that character. My normal thirst, my normal, oh shit, Zoe Kravitz is so hot shit, like, yeah, that's there, but it's more like in the back of my head in this movie because of how good she was. And that normally happens, people. I'm not someone that overly focuses on, like, you know, the carnal desires of the flesh and stuff like that, but I'm just kidding. You could call me a horny bastard. I'm not gonna get offended. But either way, Zoe Kravitz was really good in this movie. The film does have some exciting moments and some well-executed moments of tension, so definitely you're gonna be on the edge of your seat for some of that. And I do think if you're just looking for like a thriller to watch, like something at home, you don't know what to watch, definitely I would say Kimi is a worthwhile watch. And also the musical score, perfect blend of floaty and suspenseful. I feel like for me, this movie falls off in a couple of areas that keep me from saying, oh yeah, I loved it, or oh yeah, it was great. First of all, I do feel like the why of everything is not really delved into as much as it could have been. The why of everything that's happening, the explanations, the things that make up the machinations of the plot, I feel like the movie just doesn't really focus on them that much, doesn't really flesh them out that much. That's more of a nitpick. My bigger issue with this film is the third act. In the third act, things kind of go off the rails and it becomes kind of a different movie. I shouldn't say it becomes a different movie, but it's really more that the film asks you to believe, and it asks you to take a leap of faith, and some people are not gonna make that leap. It's a film that asks a lot of its audience. It's asking you to suspend your disbelief on certain things. Half of you are gonna be like, nah, it doesn't really make that much sense, but I'll go with it, and then the other half are gonna be like, nah, that shit doesn't make any sense. Like, that ruins the entire movie. If you're a fan of Soderbergh, a fan of Kravitz, or a fan of thrillers in general, I think definitely people are gonna enjoy this film. Kimi was a solid watch on HBO Max streaming right now. I'm gonna leave this one in the Silver Age for Man of Steel. That's my review for Kimi. Tell me, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Or tell me what your favorite program streaming on HBO Max is right now. Give me that in the comment section down below. Please like and subscribe to the Superfan Show, and if you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.